Okay, I think I've got everything sorted out. Welcome back to Microstream. We are once again looking at small fossils, fish teeth, fish scales, possibly small reptiles, and there's always the potential for other things too. These fossils are 80 million years old and were collected earlier this year in northwestern New Mexico. If you'd like to see the expedition videos that I shot while we were out in the field collecting this material, you can go and click on the playlist that I've just linked to in the chat. Today is probably going to actually be the last day for a while, at least until October, that I will be working on Menefee material, because we've made really good progress on the samples that were taken earlier this summer. I've actually gone down to my final bag. Just kind of eyeballing it, I don't really think there's going to be anything in this. That's always, a possibility. It happens sometimes. But anyway, I think it's a good goal to see if I can finish out this bag during this session, and then starting next week we'll have something new to look at. And as always, here in the corner is an example of one such fossil that we're keeping an eye out for. That is a fish tooth. Also, per usual, the audio setup here is probably horrendous. I don't have the money to fix that right now, so enjoy. Alright, let's get started. Hello, welcome. And another, thank you for joining. So as has been the case for the last several weeks, I'm looking at fossils from or potentially looking for fossils from the Menefee Formation collected out of our field site in New Mexico back in May. Right now I'm working on the final bag, and after which we will have gone through everything. For those of you that are subscribed to my Patreon as expedition donors, and therefore get to see my expedition videos the same day that I make them, you should be, well, just to let you know, I will be going back out to the field a second time this year in October, so you'll be getting a few more videos from the Menefee as part of Menefee Expedition 2024 Part 2. And those ones should be live on YouTube early next year, January 2025. So if you want to see what's going on in October as it happens, you can sign up over there. And if you just want to chill and wait for it to come to YouTube, look forward to that early next year. is a big piece of bone right here. Let me line it up so you can see it. So this over here, the object to the left, you're looking at a chunk of reptile bone. It could be dinosaur, it could be turtle. And those white areas, you're looking at part of the marrow, part of the inside of the bone. Obviously that's been fossilized, but the channels that would run blood vessels and other sorts of the wet organ that's on the inside of the bone is all filled with that white crystal. So you're looking at the bone in cross-section. I'm going to just, while I've got a chunk of bone under the camera, I'm going to take some pictures. It's too small and nondescript to really identify beyond it being a reptile fossil, but I always think it's cool to just get some photography when you can. That's kind of the idea behind Microstream, is just look a little closer at something that's generally too small to really see well with the equipment we've got built in. I'm going to take 1 second to adjust the lighting in here. There's a bit of an afternoon storm rolling in, so I'm going to bring in my porch furniture and turn some lights on. Okay. Hey, welcome. Yes, this is a tooth over here on the right. This is an 80-million-year-old fish tooth. And right now, I'm looking potentially for more. To be completely honest, I don't think there's going to be any in this batch. Sometimes you can just kind of tell by looking at it. But still got to do the work to check, because you never know. I had a job doing this in my undergrad. I would come in and look at dirt under the microscope for hours in between classes. And it was really relaxing just to kind of get away from everything else, and the room was usually empty and quiet. This would have been a few years ago, 2017 till I think end of 2020 is when I wrapped up all the work that I could do in that lab. Really interested by this thing. It might be a piece of an invertebrate shell. We do find clams out in the Menefee. They're not super common. When I was working at U of A doing this, we were looking at, it was also fish for the most part, but these were kind of ice aged. And the sediment was from Africa, whereas what we're looking at right now was just collected by my really awesome team in New Mexico, here in the USA. Yeah, this thing is interesting. I'm going to set it aside. Looks like there's some parallel scoring. Kind of this side. Let's take a closer look. Well, the coloration and the texture reminds me of some of the larger, like, complete invertebrates that I found out of this area. Part of the difficulty with IDing inverts from this particular formation is that the original calcium carbonate that makes up the shell of most of the animals that have shells, here it's been dissolved away and replaced with pyrite. So these are pyritized, and I'm not looking at actual, like, there's no actual mother of pearl on the inside of any of the clams that I find. They're all pyritized casts and molds and things. But and I've got a team of people that I take this stuff back to, so I'll take some photos of this and show it to a few people and see what they think. But yeah, snails and clams are what we tend to find of the invertebrates. But it seems to all kind of just be the same type of kind of freshwater marine snails. They all seem to be basically the same shape and size. But I also don't specialize in, like, snail diversity, and it would be really difficult to tell if we have multiple species there without the original shell, because it's all pyritized. Yeah, I think it's the replacement. I should say that I'm not a geochemist. That's why I take this stuff to other people. But yeah, it's something about the pyrite is replacing. There's a chemical reaction that replaces the original shell with pyrite. That's cool. I do not. To be honest, I really don't collect minerals. I used to have a small collection as a kid, but as you could probably guess, I'm a little more into the fossil end of things. Okay, I'm gonna take this out and keep searching. That's cool. What's your favorite mineral that you've got in your collection? Oh, awesome. I come across really big chunks of what I assume is usually quartz, but sometimes gypsum, out in the field, and sometimes I pocket it, you know, if it's the kind of area I'm looking in that I have permission to take private rock samples. I might collect a few to kind of use as decoration or in my garden, but it's hard to say how big the largest one I found because they tend to be in clusters. So sometimes I'll pick up a formation that's got, you know, a dozen or so different crystals kind of cemented together that's around the size of my hand. And they can get quite a bit bigger than that, in which case I obviously don't bother. Like boulder-sized rocks that just have, you know, whatever kind of precipitate is on the outside. The size of the individual crystals, I guess I tend not to really measure that. It might be an interesting thing to start keeping track of. Could be, I suppose. But it's also not the type of place that you would just be able to haul a gigantic, you know, slab of something away from without getting a permit. Everything we collect out there, fossil-wise, all has to be done directly with the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management. And mineral sampling is generally not necessary for what I do. It's starting to get really dark out. I think it's going to rain soon. So if the stream randomly cuts out, it is possibly because my power went out. And if that's the case, I'm probably not going to turn it back on and continue streaming. So, you know, avenge me. Avenge my stream. But I think it'll be alright. We haven't had a power outage in several weeks. So this pile of dirt, which is, since we're looking under a microscope, this is approximately a spoonful or so, a tablespoon's worth of dirt, comes from northwestern New Mexico, from a rock deposit called the Menefee Formation. It's somewhere between 78 million years old and 84.5 million years old. And we went and picked up rock samples from particular areas that we thought might have these kind of really small fossils, these small teeth and things like that. And since a lot of it is mudstone, you can put it in water, sift it around, and it will dissolve and break apart into smaller things. These are fairly large chunks. Most of the samples that I've been working with over the last few weeks have been a lot smaller than this. That's kind of why I don't think there's going to be small teeth in this stuff, because these particles are much larger. But we did get a few cool chunks of, something that might be a fragment of an invert, and then a piece of reptile bone. So there is still stuff in here, which is cool. If you go look at some of the other videos that I've posted on this channel recently, you can kind of see the area that this stuff came out of. On top of the job of actually like doing the field research, I also really enjoy just taking, obviously I've got my phone on me the whole time, and your modern smartphone has a pretty decent camera, and you can get some bare bonesy but competent enough video editing software that I can cobble together little video logs of me doing the work while I'm still out there. And so the videos I shot several months ago are now debuting for free on YouTube. Oh, that's cool. Hopefully it's not one of the stupid ones. Sometimes I like making very, very dumb videos for fun. Well, the thing I've posted so far that has gotten the most views, bar none, like an incredible... We're talking, I think this one is sitting at about 50K, and the second best video by views that I've done is probably under 1,000 still. So we're talking like 50 times the number of views than anything else. It's just a video of one of my parents' cats just like clawing at me and making these awful demonic noises. And it was a video I just shot for fun and edited together with a little bit of, you know, stupid audio jokes. And like, yeah, of all things that I spend time on, that's what gets all the views, which makes sense. People like cat videos. I get it. Unfortunately, pivoting to being a full-time cat YouTuber, not really what I want to be doing. I just got an alert on my phone that says heavy rain in 20 minutes. That's exciting. Oh, I can see it coming at me on the radar. You know what's stupid? Hold on. Yeah. I just heard, I was pretty sure that's what that was. We're in the middle of our monsoon. It's like raining and flooding here every other day, and I can hear the sprinklers being turned on at the apartment complex I live in. They water, I swear, like 5-6 times a day, and it's literally, I'm getting like flash flood warnings and stuff like that. They don't like turn their sprinklers off when it naturally rains here to save water. It makes no sense. For the record, I live in Tucson, Arizona, which does not exactly have excess water to waste on, like, grass. If you know what I mean? Yeah, there was a really big one about a week or so ago. But fortunately here, the roads are a little better at handling it. They're not great. But, like, I used to live up near Phoenix, and in a town called Mesa. It's just it floods there absolutely all the time, even though the like the curbs are like a foot off the ground. It just, every time there's a flash flood. Here, when people drive, as they say, it rains 3 inches, half an inch, people lose their driver's license. They just don't. They don't slow down, they just freak out. this right there, that is a piece of plaster. So that's a leftover from one of the plaster jackets that we took when we were collecting some macrofossils. At the spot where this sediment came from, we found some decent chunks of turtle shell. Alright, sweet. Thanks for stopping by. I am here around this time every Monday if you'd like to swing by again. Adios. Okay, final spoonful, everybody. One more spoonful to look through, and then I am done with this sample and the whole bag. Alright, I think this one is clean. So that's wrapped on my Menefee samples from earlier this summer. Next week, you'll be seeing something different.